your agency regarding this application. I took the opportunity to review some of your files on how we could have gotten to some of the situation regarding the condition at Tom's Brook. In particular, I looked at application 80-62 for the adjacent property. 31 years ago, I have included cuts of that application. 31 years ago, this agency approved the drainage plan for the adjacent line that showed none of the drainage particulars. And when we look at what's happening with Tom's Brook, we see that there is quite an explanation for what's going on as to the contaminants in Tom's Brook due to the immediate conditions, one of which was identified in this plan as the steep embankment on the town of Greenwich property being a mound of fly ash to a depth of 23 feet along the perimeter of the brook. So essentially, you've had constructive knowledge for 31 years that Tom's Brook flowing through this facility is leaching fly ash. The particular soil results were not submitted for your last meeting, but they did come in on Thursday or Wednesday of last week. And they indicate chemical results not of the facility itself, but of the sediment material that has filled in the detention pond since the last hydro dredge. So your soil samples pertain only to the top 4 feet of the re-sedimented pond, and those samples are consistent with fly ash leaching. We also want to make you aware that the outflow from the facility goes directly into the community garden project, organic farming at Armstrong Court, and the vegetables from that farming project are offered to neighbor. So to back up the comments that have already been made, this is an opportunity for us to deal with an extraordinary degree of fecal coliform and other materials entering from the impervious surfaces along the coast road, and then to produce an outflow from this facility that meets the requirements of the public safety involved for the exposure that the community gardeners have, as well as everyone else using the facility. I think we're starting to get a good idea what happens in town when we sweep environmental problems under the rug, and what we're urging you to do is simply give the community an honest evaluation of what material is there. I had it represented to me that the reason that these soils are not being tested is they don't want to find a Superfund site. And I just ask you as an agency, if this is a Superfund site, whose responsibility is it to determine how these improvements will be handled? And I'm just stating for the record that 31 years ago, you approved an application showing 23 feet of fly ash fill along the hill that is used for the citizen drop-off. So I ask you to consider the fact that this application has a life of 65 days. That 65 days will close next week, and we are just now starting to see some of the details pertaining to stormwater management, sedimentation and erosion control narrative, relocation of sanitary sewer lines embedded in Tom's Brook. I made an FOI request that was fulfilled last Thursday. I made another one today. I have not received any response except from Mr. Chambers, but I have received no documents fulfilling the citations I've made for missing materials. Those missing materials include no land survey. Last survey was done, I believe, by Mr. DeAndre about 18 years ago. There's no engineer certification on the plans. There's no soil scientist survey since 1990. Well, it was represented to you this evening that you have those documents. And I have a number of statements that I've reported representing that this application has been made in a complete form, and I'm throwing out to you that a week short of the 65 days, many of the important components of any agency application were not obtainable from your file or from the 2 FOI requests to date. No, I did not, because I worked in New York today. Okay, but you testified that they came in today as well. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But I am pointing out that you do not have those test investigations in hand.